Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through some trades that I took this week. So I did record, I believe, Thursday and Wednesday, and then I had some really good trades on Friday. So I'll go through all of that with you guys. Wednesday was a really great day to trade, and Friday was a really great day to trade as well. Thursday was a bit choppy, but I did end up taking one trade, which I'll go through. I'm not going to go through all of my trades that I took. I did mostly trade SPX, Tesla, and Amazon. I didn't really touch anything else this week. That being said, the S&P almost closed in official bear market territory on Friday. It did have a slight rally towards the end of the day, but it is down, I believe, 19% from its record. The NASDAQ is in official bear territory, and the Dow, I believe, had its 7th straight red week, and that is the longest streak that it's had since 1932, I believe it was. So some people are saying we're in a bear market. Some people are saying that we're not there yet. I don't really care. I'm just going to trade what I see, and I suggest that you guys do the same thing. Personally, as a day trader, I don't really like to get too in depth with that conversation just because I'm not concerned about the overall direction of the market on a higher time frame. I'm day trading on a day-to-day basis, so I don't want to make myself biased. This past week, what I've noticed is that I've been very biased. I didn't really take that many. I think I took one position in calls. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of upside anyways, but just in general, I don't like to have a bias going into the market because I think that deters you from your trading plan, deters you from your strategies, and you can potentially miss out on opportunities just because you're biased in one direction. So a lot of people ask me, what do you think of this in the future? What do you think of that in the future? What do you think the market's going to do in the future? You can look at all the technicals, all the fundamentals, but you just never know because it all depends on the economy. There's so many factors that go into how the market could potentially move over the next several months. So unless we have all of those answers in one day, you're not going to be able to predict what the market is going to do next week or the following week or 2 months or 3 months down the road. So don't bother trying to predict it. Just trade what you see, trade what's on your chart, and don't be biased. And that is my advice to all of you. And now that we got that little rant out of the way, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. The first trade that I'm going to go through was on the 18th, which was Wednesday. I didn't trade Monday this week. Yeah, I didn't trade Monday this week because I was traveling. Tuesday, I think I took only one trade because it was pretty choppy, and then Wednesday I believe I only took one trade as well. Let me scroll down. Yeah, I think I only took one trade on Wednesday. So I was watching SPX's gap, so I was watching it below 40.30 for puts to fill the gap. My targets on the downside were 40.20, 15, and the end of the gap was 40.08. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. This gap. Okay, so SPX had this gap right here that it had to fill from 40.34 all the way down to 4,008. Okay, so it was the day before gap. So this was the gap down, SPX gap down on Wednesday, but on Monday it had gapped up into Wednesday, and it only filled that gap halfway down, so I was waiting for the rest of the gap to fill on that play. Okay, so this is the gap I'm looking for. I waited till 40.30 to enter because 40.30 was my psych level on it. You could have entered at 40.34. However, I always like to play the safest play on the safest level on SPX which would be the nearest psych level, and either nearest 5 or 10 point level. So if we take a look here, let's go to the time frame, 5 minute on the 18th. So it's the 16th, 17th, 18th. Okay, so you can see here on SPX. So like I said, my levels on the downside were 40.15. So I don't have this account charted for some reason. 40.15, and then 4,008 was the gap fill, and that was the play that I was looking to take this till. So the entry was at 9.39 at the touch of 40.30, and my ultimate price target was 4,008. I locked some at 40.15 and the rest at 4,008. The reason I locked some at 40.15 because that was my next support level down, and then 4,008 was the end of the gap fill. Okay, so those were that is why those are my price targets. And if you can see here, it perfectly came down and rejected that 40.15, bounced a couple times prior to breaking and then filling the rest of the gap. So 40.15 was a perfect level for an initial price target, and then 4,008, the end of that gap. And you can see here, as it makes the move down, it continuously holds below that 21-day EMA until around when it fills that gap. It then breaks above the 9 EMA, and then it's still, when it fills the gap and pulls back, it still pulls back to the 21 EMA, so that signifies that the trend is still in place. I really like to use the 9 and 21 on the 2-minute time frame now. It does solidify the trend a lot better than any other time frame. So keep that in mind when you are using moving averages. If you are day trading, the 2-minute is a great time frame to use the 9 and 21 in conjunction with your day trade as you're scaling out. So let's go ahead and take a look at the recording. Where did it go? Right here. So right now we're at 9:40. So I'm gonna forward some of it because my first exit was around 9:56 once it touched, or 9:58 once it touched the 40.15 level. Let's see where it touched 40.15. It was 9:56, 9:57, 9:58. The 9:58 2-minute candle is where I locked it. Because you can see this is that 9:58 2-minute candle here, perfect touch of the 40.15 level. Okay, so we're at 56. I'm just going to forward some of this. This is just for you guys to be able to see that I filled in and filled out. I am still trying to figure out how to record level 2 in time and sales, so my toss screen as well as my interactive broker screen, so that you guys can kind of see a side by side of what I'm entering and exiting and what I'm actually seeing on my screen. So I am working on that, so just please be patient. In the next couple of live trade videos, I'll make sure that you guys can see level 2 in time and sales, as well as the chart and interactive brokers. All right. So it's 9:58 now. I lock somewhere around here. I lock half of my position, I believe, at 9:58. Once it touches that 40.15 level, the premiums have gone up to $27.90 from $21.40. There we go. I locked some at 9:58, almost 9:59 here. And the premium went from $21 to $27. I locked half of my position. I still have half left. And that half I lock at, I believe it's 10:36 once it fills the rest of that gap on the 2-minute time frame. Again, if you look at the 5, nice trend down. Even though it isn't a clean trend down, it is still holding below the 9 EMA on the 5. And on the 2-minute time frame, there was no reason for me to exit this trade yet. Even though it wasn't a smooth ride down, it still was a ride down. So I'm going to forward some of this so we can get to 10:58. So this is a really long day trade. Like I said, it took it a while for it. Oh, 10:36. There we go. So right here, we're at 10:35. Still in half of my position, like I said. Premium's now at $32 here. We got about 10 seconds left to 10:36 for that next 2-minute candle to open. So I usually wait for the next 2-minute candle to open before I look to lock to see how it moves. And at 10:36, the end of that gap was filled. I should have locked right when it opened. I think I did get a little bit of spillage on the premium because I locked a little too late. And there we go. I locked the rest of my position at 10:36, and the premium went from $21 all the way to $31.70. It's a really nice, that's a $10 premium move on the second half of my position. I ended up making $16,048 on this play. So this is a clean gap fill on SPX. Really easy to trade. So it was the previous day's gap that it didn't fill all the way through, waited for the break of 40.30, and I just held the gap all the way through. Like I said, this wasn't the cleanest gap fill. You can see here there was some choppiness. However, on the 2 minute and on the 5 minute, it was holding below the 9 EMA, holding below the 21 EMA. No reason for me to exit this trade. So the next trade, I actually traded XPX's gap fill again, but I traded calls. So this was a really, really quick trade at open. So one thing that you want to pay attention to when you are trading is whether that day there's strong market sentiment or not. If there is not strong market sentiment, you don't want to overhold your position. So this was this gap fill on SPX here. And I will show you what ES was doing on that day. So this was 519. So this was 519. So you can see this was open here. Okay. So you can see here ES is not doing much. Okay. It's very choppy. This day was very choppy. I believe it was Thursday. Very choppy day, and this was the only trade that I took all day on Thursday. Okay, so you can see clearly ES has no direction at this time. It did make a slight move above VWAP, which is why I took the SPX trade. If ES right here had not made the move above VWAP into this 5 minute here, I wouldn't have taken the trade on SPX. But since it was holding above VWAP on the 5 minute, I was comfortable taking this gap fill on SPX, and you'll see how I trade, because it's a very, very quick scalp in comparison to the last trade that I took where I held the gap all the way through. It was holding the 21-day EMA. The 21 EMA. On this one, you can see SPX is not above its EMAs yet. It's trending below its EMAs. The only reason that I took this trade was because ES was trending above its VWAP, and that is why I took this trade. Okay, so I entered this very close to open. Whenever I take trades very close to open, they're very quick scalps. I don't look to hold them very long. They're usually very quick scalps, and I'm in and out. So I held this very short. This is a very short trade. I'm just going to open the thing for you guys, and here we go. It's about 2 minutes to open, so let's forward. Okay, here, we're 9:31. Like I said, I entered this trade at 9:32. Once it broke that pre-market level, that pre-gap level, which was my 3,900 level, I didn't show you guys. So the gap down from 39.23 down to 3,900. I waited for the 3,900 break on the 1 minute and 2 minute time frame, and I entered this position. Okay, so it's 9:31, and then my target on this was obviously the 39.23 level, and you'll kind of see how my trading differs from the previous one, how I was so confident in that trade versus how quick this scalp is. Okay, we got some time left. Let me just forward some of this. Okay, here we go. It starts to break 3,900. Whoops, you guys need to go. Right. Got about 5 seconds left to that next candle open. Starts to break 3,900 at 9:31. I actually was trading this live on Voice with my team members, so they were able to catch this slight play as well. So once I held the 3,900 level, I entered at 9:32. I got a fill of an average of $33.50. All right, and it's 9:33 now. I entered at 9:32, close to the middle of the 9:32 candle, and this is 9:32 here. Okay, and I'll pull up the 1 minute time frame since it was a quick scalp. I want you guys to be able to see that. This was Thursday. Oops. All right, so let's zoom in. Here we go. I entered on this candle right here, 9:32. It did slightly pull back on the close of that candle, what made me a little nervous, but this candle afterwards opened above the close of the previous candle, which signifies that the trend is still in place, and it is a strong trend. Not a strong trend, but on that time frame, it's a strong trend. So now it's 9:33. I actually locked some of my position at 9:34 and the rest at 9:36. Okay, so I lock some of my position at 9:34 right here once it gets close to the 9 EMA, because I am anticipating that it could potentially reject, because NASDAQ and ES did not have a strong trend up. they weren't trending in the same direction, and it was still pretty choppy on the 5-minute because everything was wicking around. So I locked some at 934 once it touched right at that 21, and the rest of it at 936. I didn't even wait for it to fill the gap all the way through. I was not comfortable holding this with what I was seeing on futures. And you can see this is 933 here. And premium pulled back a little bit when I entered. It's starting to pick up slightly. And I was in the 3,900 calls. And there you go. I locked some at 934. I locked half of my position at 934. Premium went from $33.20 to $35.20. So not a bad move. $2 on that 2-minute scalp, which is pretty decent. And I locked about 800 there. And then we got 2 minutes to the next candle. So like I said, this was where I locked some, 934, and I locked the rest at 936. I didn't wait for this 2-minute candle to close. I just locked at the 936 level without waiting for the next candle to open. I locked right here on this candle, and it was starting to break the 21 EMA, but like I said, I didn't like what I saw on futures, so I was comfortable locking at 936 here. Premium starts to pick up, and there you go. So there we go. We have a 932 fill, a 933. I entered at 932, exited some of my position at 934, and then the rest of my position at 936. Premium went from $33 to $35 to $39, and I ended up making around $8,000 on this play, on this about 4 or 5 minute scalp. This was a really good scalp play to pay attention to, very quick, in conjunction with what ES futures and NASDAQ futures was showing me. You obviously don't want to hold too long if you're not seeing the move on futures, which is why I wasn't comfortable holding through the entire gap fill on SPX. Even though for the most part I'm very comfortable trading SPX, you always want to base it off of what futures is doing way before what the stock is showing you. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any video suggestions, comments, questions, concerns, you can comment down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. All of my social media links are down below in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.